For nearly 50 years, Smokey and the Bandit has been remembered for fast cars, truckers, and a legendary Trans Am. But behind the laughs lies a story most fans have never heard. So for the next 10 minutes, let's take a closer look at the hidden details and behind-the-scenes stories that made this film a true classic. Fact number 1. The Trans Am wasn't just a car. When people remember Smokey and the Bandit, most of them remember the same thing first. Not the dialogue. Not even Burt Reynolds. They remember that black Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. And that's remarkable, because when filming began, nobody expected the car to become a legend. It was chosen for a simple reason. It looked perfect for Bandit. Fast. Loud. Aggressive. The kind of machine that looked rebellious even standing still. But somewhere, during production, it quietly became something more. You can see it happen in the way Hal Needham films it. He doesn't shoot the Trans Am like transportation. He shoots it like a star. Low angles. Slow reveals. Sunlight sliding across the hood. That giant Firebird decal suddenly feels less like a logo and more like an identity. And audiences felt that instantly. When the movie opened in 1977, dealerships across America started hearing the same request. I want the Bandit car. Not a Trans Am. The Bandit car. Because audiences weren't buying horsepower. They were buying freedom. And that's why, nearly 50 years later, people still stop when they see a black Trans Am. Because they're not looking at a car. They're remembering what it felt like to leave everything behind and simply keep driving. That's when a movie car becomes immortal. Fact number 2. Burt Reynolds didn't play Bandit. Some actors disappear into characters. Burt Reynolds did the opposite. He made the character disappear into him. That's what made Bandit unforgettable. On paper, Bandit isn't complicated. No tragic backstory. No dramatic transformation. But audiences connected with him immediately because Burt wasn't pretending to be cool. He simply was. That grin. That effortless confidence. The way he held the wheel like every road in America belonged to him. None of it felt acted. Hal Needham understood that. His smartest decision was simple. Let Burt be Burt. And that freedom changed everything. Watching Bandit doesn't feel like watching a character. It feels like riding shotgun beside the coolest man you've ever met. And that's why audiences never forgot him. Fact number 3. Much of the movie wasn't in the script. One of the reasons Smokey and the Bandit still feels so alive today is because so much of what audiences love about it was never actually written down. In modern filmmaking, every line is polished, tested, and carefully protected. But this movie came from a different era, and more importantly, from a different mindset. Hal Needham trusted instinct. He trusted his actors. He trusted the chaos. On set, improvisation wasn't the exception. It was part of the process. Actors changed lines. They stepped on each other's dialogue. They laughed unexpectedly. Sometimes they genuinely didn't know what the next line would be. And instead of ruining scenes, it made them better. Because real people don't wait politely for their turn to speak. They interrupt. They stumble. They react. You can feel that everywhere in this movie, in the truck stops, in the CB chatter, in the car conversations. Nothing feels stiff. It feels lived in. That looseness gives the movie warmth. It feels less like a performance and more like a memory being captured in real time. That kind of spontaneity is almost impossible to fake. And maybe that's why, nearly 50 years later, this film still feels strangely modern. Not because it was ahead of its time, but because it was honest enough to let real moments happen. Fact number 4. Jackie Gleason stole the movie. Every great movie has that one element nobody fully predicts, the thing that suddenly takes over the screen. In Smokey and the Bandit, that was Jackie Gleason. On paper, Sheriff Buford T. Justice was simple. The angry lawman chasing Bandit across state lines. Funny enough. Functional enough. Then Gleason got hold of it, and transformed the role into something unforgettable. He didn't just play Justice. He exploded into him. Every line became louder. Every insult became stranger. Every scene became chaos. And the wildest part? A lot of his funniest material was improvised. Hal Needham knew better than to control him. He simply let Gleason run. Crew members reportedly struggled not to laugh. Actors sometimes broke character. The energy became contagious. What makes Justice so funny isn't that he tells jokes, it's that he never thinks he's joking. He believes every ridiculous word he says. That total seriousness turns absurdity into comedy gold. Without Jackie Gleason, this movie is still fun. With him, it becomes legendary. Fact number 5. The title was a secret joke. Most audiences hear the title Smokey and the Bandit and never stop to question it. But hidden inside that title is a joke and a message aimed directly at one audience: truck drivers. In the 1970s, CB radio culture was enormous. Long-haul truckers had their own language, their own rules, their own code words. And one of the most famous was Smokey, a nickname for highway patrol officers. Inspired by the wide-brimmed hats, many officers wore hats that reminded truckers of Smokey Bear. So before the film even begins, the title is already telling a story. It's saying, this movie knows your world. That kind of authenticity matters. It builds trust instantly. Truckers recognized it immediately, and many embraced the film before they'd even seen the first scene. It felt personal. Like Hollywood had finally made something that understood road culture instead of imitating it. That hidden detail helps explain why the movie connected so deeply. It wasn't just entertainment. It felt like representation. Fact number 6. The stunts were completely real. If you watch Smokey and the Bandit today, it's easy to forget just how dangerous these stunts really were. Modern audiences are used to CGI. Cars can fly through the air with a few clicks on a computer. But in 1977, if a car needed to jump a bridge, somebody actually had to launch that car into the air. If it needed to drift, somebody had to destroy real tires. And if something went wrong, it went wrong for real. That's the mindset Hal Needham brought to this film. Before directing, he was one of Hollywood's greatest stuntmen. He had spent years risking his body for realism, and when he finally sat in the director's chair, he didn't suddenly abandon that philosophy. He doubled down on it. That's why every chase scene feels heavy. You can feel the suspension compress when the cars land. You can feel the danger in every turn. CGI can create bigger spectacles, but reality creates tension. And tension is what makes these scenes unforgettable. Fact number 7. Sally Field changed the film. On paper, Frog could have been forgettable, the classic passenger seat love interest. But Sally Field refused to let that happen. From the moment she appears, she changes the rhythm of the movie. She isn't just reacting to Bandit, she's challenging him, teasing him, balancing him. That matters, because standing next to Burt Reynolds in 1977 wasn't easy. His charisma could overwhelm a scene. But Sally never disappears. She creates her own gravity. Suddenly, the movie has emotional texture. It has wit. It has heart. And that changes everything. Without Sally Field, this is a fun chase movie. With her, it becomes a relationship story too, and audiences feel that immediately. Fact number 8. Nobody expected it to matter. Maybe the most incredible hidden fact about Smokey and the Bandit is that nobody expected it to matter. Not the studio. Not the critics. To them, it was just a fun little summer movie, fast cars, cheap laughs, and gone by fall. But audiences had other ideas. They came back. They brought friends. They turned it into a phenomenon. By the end of 1977, it had become the second highest grossing film of the year behind only Star Wars. Think about that. In the year of spaceships and lightsabers, America still fell in love with a black Trans Am and a beer run through the South. That tells you something important. Sometimes audiences don't need bigger stories. They just need stories that remind them what freedom feels like. Nearly 50 years later, Smokey and the Bandit still reminds us why we love movies about freedom, friendship, and the open road. Thank you for spending these few minutes with us. And until next time, keep the wheels turning and the stories rolling.